Hi, everyone. It's Coach Little C here. I want to talk today about referees and more specifically, how the way adults treat referees and impact in youth sports. And I'm talking referees in any sport, basketball, umpires in baseball or softball, you name the sport. I'm talking about referees and umpires in general. We all love the game. We're passionate. We want our kids, we want our teams to succeed, but sometimes that passion crosses a line and it's hurting a lot of people who make this game possible, and that's the referees. So, why do referees matter and umpires matter in sports? They're there to keep the kids safe, to enforce the rules, to make sure the game is fair. In youth sports, they're not just officials, they're part of the learning environment. They help teach kids accountability, respect, and how to handle adversity. When a referee makes a call, you don't like it, that's part of the game, right? Mistakes happen. Without referees, without umpires, judges, there's no game, no league, no competition. We can't expect perfection from people who are often doing this because they love sports and want to give back. So I always ask myself, if we don't have those officials and referees and umpires, there's no sports. We don't have referees, we don't have that crew. Not only do we not have sports, what do we have for our kids at any age group? I've been around youth basketball. I just recently finished coaching my daughter's fifth and sixth grade basketball in the Valentine League, and I saw referees that threw parents out of a game, threw coaches out of a game. And one thing I'll say about some of the referees with some of the youth sports, I do think those referees or umpires get carried away and think they're too big for the game, where I think they think sometimes that some of the volunteer coaches don't know as much as they do. And I'll tell you this much, I had an incident with a referee, and I'm not gonna mention the referee's name, but I had an incident at a game, one of our basketball games, where the referee came to me in the second quarter and said, "This is your warning. I don't like you calling out what should have been a foul, what should not have been a foul. So this is your warning, or I'm gonna throw you out of the game." And I said, "Time out." I said, "First of all, I didn't say anything to you." And he goes, "I don't wanna hear it, coach. I'm gonna throw you out of the game." Now, this was a playoff game, second quarter, and mind you, I said nothing the entire game to the officials. Now, we had some people that were sitting over at the scorer's table that were yelling some stuff to the officials, and maybe that's who it was, maybe it wasn't. Halftime of that game, I walk onto the court, and again, I say, "Listen, I just wanna say I'm sorry, it wasn't," and he goes, "I don't wanna talk to you. Get away from me." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna let this thing go." We win the game. The next day, we have the same official at our basketball game. Before the game started, I went up to the referee and I said, "Listen, first of all, yesterday, I just wanna say this because now the day's over, is I want to apologize because I didn't yell at you the entire game." And I like to get after it. I yell, right? No matter the age group, I'm always involved. I'm passionate for coaching in any sport, girls or boys. And I told the referee, I said, "Listen, one thing is as a coach, and I got all the respect in the world for referees and umpires and everybody, but you disrespected me how you talked to me, let alone you saying I disrespected you. You disrespected me." And he said, "Listen," he goes, "I had a bad day." I said, "Listen, we all have bad days." But he said, "Coach, I had a bad day. I had some stuff going on. I just wasn't taking anything from anybody." And I said, "That's good, man." I said, "We all have good days and bad days, but you can't take those out on other people." It's the same thing in the workplace, right? I don't always have good days. I don't have good days at home. I can't come home and take that out on my wife and kids. I can't take a bad day's work out on my kids at practice. You can't do that because there's others that do that, and I don't think that's healthy. So the referee appreciates. He's like, "Listen, you've been good all year." He goes, "I really appreciate that. You're one of the first people that actually apologized to me and wanted to set things straight." So referees matter. We need them. They're not perfect. A lot of them are just volunteers, and majority of them do get paid depending on the level that they're officiating or umpiring. And they go through classes, they miss calls. But again, we need them. If we don't have them, they walk off a field, they walk off a court. We don't have athletics people. And I think it's gotten out of hand big time in sports. I think it's gotten out of hand. I've seen more parents get involved at games. I've seen parents come on courts. I've seen parents come on football fields. I've seen parents wherever, you name it. And we're all passionate about the game. And I think it's unfortunate there's incidents that have happened over the years, not just in Rome, everywhere it happens. I've been to Little League games, I've been all-star games, I've been all over, and I've seen parents that have went overboard with officials. The hard truth about the problems with adults going overboard, I think, is parents sometimes go overboard with the referees, and we've all seen it. Yelling, arguing every call, personal attacks, and it doesn't stop there. There's been many instances where there's been fights that have broken out and referees have walked out mid-game or games have been canceled altogether. Leagues have been shut down because of the abuse they take from fans and sometimes even coaches. And if you think about that for a second, kids show up ready to play and the game gets ruined because adults can't control their emotions. That's not competition, people. That's not leadership. It's definitely not what youth sports is supposed to be about. We are the examples, us, coaches, parents. And if, as a coach, your team sees that, and there's some coaches that will push back on an official. I think it's okay. You go to a basketball game, you see high school coaches, JV coaches, you name it, college coaches on TV, NBA coaches, they'll ride the officials. It's okay to ride the officials. But then it's like there's that point where you cross the line, and that's when the officials get on you. And some officials let it go a little bit longer. I think more of the experienced guys that have taken it for a long time let things go a little bit more than maybe some of the young guys. And there's always certain coaches that'll ride the officials a little bit more. But to me, I think that starts with leadership. It's the same thing with my kids here. If they see mom or dad acting a certain way and they act that way, how can I hold them accountable and try to teach them right from wrong? It's the same thing for me at my job at work. I have to hold my people accountable. And how do I do that? I have to lead by example. Is if I do it and then my own team does it, they're going to say, well, you do it. They're not wrong, right? And then I think the impact on kids in the game, I think when kids see adult berating referees, they learn that disrespect is acceptable. And I've just said it's not acceptable. That's on us. They learn to blame others instead of owning their own performance. And over time, I think referees stop showing up. Officials quit. Leagues struggle to find referees. Games get canceled. Schedules fall apart. Kids lose opportunities to play because of adult behavior sometimes. That's what we don't want. We don't want leagues getting canceled and kids can't play. Kids can't play. Guess what happens? Kids get in trouble. They end up in trouble. They end up in jail. They end up doing things we don't want these young kids to do. They end up on the streets, whatever it might be. That's what we don't want in today's age in sports. And we've got to stop because I think it's only getting worse. We talk a lot about building character in youth sports. Respecting officials, I think, is part of that character. And I'll close with this. Here's my message to parents and coaches. It's okay to be passionate. It's okay to cheer loud. It's okay to support your kids, but don't cross the line. You're setting the example every single game. Cheer for all the kids. Not every kid has the same athletic ability as others. There's other kids that are more talented than your sons or daughters. And it's okay. That's part of life. There's other people that have different skill setting in the workplace. Joe might be better at certain things than what Rocky is. It's okay. And it's okay for you to cheer on everybody and not put kids down and want to see kids fail. We want to see kids succeed. That's the name of the game. If you have an issue with a call, handle it the right way. Go through your league channels after the game calmly and respectfully, right? During the game, let referees do their job. Because I always say this as a coach. I still say this as a coach. When parents want to talk about coaches and they want to critique coaches, coaches that have coached long enough can handle that type of criticism. Well, coach made the wrong call on fourth down. I don't know why coach didn't kick it. He should have went for it. Coach went for it. He should have kicked it. Or in basketball, hey, I think coach should have called timeout and set up this play. Why didn't he call timeout? Why didn't he have that kid in the game? Why didn't he pinch hit for that kid in the sixth inning? I get it. We get it as coaches. But I'll say this to all the parents out there watching, and if you're watching on the replay, every year you can apply for a job. If you want to coach football, put in for the football job. You want to coach basketball, put in for the basketball job. You want to coach Little League, put in to coach Little League. Go through the process. You can do it at any level. Now, you get into the modified JV and varsity level, you got to be certified. Well, put in. You want a referee, go take the official course. They offer it all year. You can take it online. You can be a referee. You want umpire, you can be an umpire. They have courses for that as well. Protect the game for our kids. Let's protect the people who show up to make it possible. And again, I've yelled at referees. I've yelled at umpires. We've all done it. But let's make youth sports a place where referees want to come back and not walk away from the game. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you at the game. Next time I see you at the game, give me a shout out and say, hey, coach, caught you on the podcast. Thanks for tuning in here tonight on The Rock Ball.